things that this woman here has done. I'm going to try to narrow it down as much as I can. She is the voice of the future. She's poised the top charts again with her latest CD, The Groovement, which was recorded live in Stockholm, Sweden. It's also produced in collaboration with Silver and producer, pianist, musical director Daryl Hunt. Her first single, The Little Things, is it released yet, or it's
Little
coming?
Things is released. It's
yes.
on iTunes, Spotify.
Okay,
yes.
and we'll talk about that.
Yes.
So she has a stellar reputation on the international stage as lead singer of the legendary group Chic, as you have just seen. She has toured the U.S., Europe, Japan, and the U.K. She's graced the stages of Stravinsky Hall at Montreux, Hollywood Bowl in California, Constitution Hall in D.C., the Paradisco in Amsterdam. Paradiso.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're sitting here to tell me how to pronounce it. In Amsterdam, the Budokan,
yes.
Osaka Joe Hall, and every Blue Note in Japan. Oh my goodness. Her TV appearances include VH1 Storytellers, Larry the Cable Guy's Christmas Special, and Ellen with Kid Rock, as well as numerous entertainment shows in Italy and Norway. Also, you were on what's his name? Montel.
Yeah, that's my buddy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I saw that. So crossing many genres, R&B, pop, jazz, gospel, blues, Silver is also known for her amazing a cappella magic in the moment. Her Duke Ellington School of Arts classical training, combined with a natural ear for harmony, creates a special brand of soulful sweetness sealed with edgy excitement that emotes something we can feel. She topped the dance music charts with her #1 Billboard hit All This Time and wowed standing room only aficionados in dance clubs all over the East Coast. Her voice and namesake jewelry line, Silverware, keep her in the company of who's who in the music and arts industry. She's performed on stages with Sting, Patti LaBelle, John Legend, Whoopi Goldberg, and Pino Daniele, to name a few. Everybody from Shaka Khan to Sir Elton John exchanges kudos and inquires about the latest silverware. I know, right? He's back there bowing. A visionary songwriter, Silver tells it like it is with play it again rhythms and lyrics that demand an instant replay. Her first solo CD, Place to Begin, is an inspired collection of love lessons that can move us to dance or to tears on any given day. Also co-produced and co-written with Daryl L.A. Hunt, this blend of musicality and funk is an independent masterpiece. I am so very pleased to introduce you to my friend, Miss Silver Logan Sharp.
Thank you. Wow, I sound fabulous on paper.
I mean, it's all true. And you left some things out. I don't see
tried.
Yolanda Adams on here.
I don't know how that happened.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so let's take a quick break. I wanted to show another video, one of your videos.
Wow.
Yes, from Voice of America, and then we'll come back with some
goodness.
questions. Stay tuned. Also, feel free to send a message on chat or give us a call. We're right here.
Feel it somewhere in the middle of your back, maybe in your neck, one of your shoulders. And I gotta give HUR a shout out, because they are rocking this song all day long. Hey, close your eyes and imagine. Imagine no more color lines. Imagine no more reasons why you can't do anything you try. Don't give up on you. Imagine your dreams coming true. Imagine a world where no one has color for skin. Imagine a place where everyone only stands to win. Some of us call our world a peaceful place, but if you could go back, think of everything you changed. Imagine no you made. Ooh, no more color. You can do it, anything you try. Don't give up on imagine your dreams get true. No, 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 no. You can do anything. No more reasons why. Don't you dare give up on you. Anything you try. Don't give up on imagine your dreams. Check it out, y'all. True. Imagine if at the drop of a hat you could turn back, start each day all over again. Every new day that you wake, you can make a choice to love anyway, in spite of all the things that you cannot change. Imagine we're breaking down reasons why. Open up your heart and you can love anything. Yeah, you try. Don't give up on imagine your dreams come true. We all hurt the same. We all bleed the same. We all cry the same. We all go out the same. You try. Don't give up on Don't give up. Don't ever give up. You can do anything that you wanna do, yeah. You gotta watch out, 'cause the devil gets busy on your life. Don't give up, don't ever give up. No, 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 no. Woo. I know I'm talking to somebody right now. I know you had a bad day. Don't you give up on your life. No matter what they tell you, you just get on your knees and give it to God. Don't you dare give up. No, no, come on, come on, come on. Imagine no more color lines. There's no more color lines. No more reasons why. There's not one reason why. You can do it. All you can do. Don't give up on you. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. Just imagine what you can do with your mind. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can do it. Anything you try. Don't give up on imagine your dreams coming true. Thank you.
This is fun. I get to watch myself. This is great.
Oh, welcome again.
Thank
oh my
you.
goodness. This
Thank
is
you.
great. I am just so glad that you were able to take the time, because I know you are traveling all over the place and you're preparing for your performance tomorrow at the Howard Theater.
Can't wait.
And just getting back in the country last night.
Yeah.
See, I feel special.
Yeah. I was like, listen. I said, my girl's like, you need to come on do this show. I'm like, I need to go ahead and do this show. So we were going to work this out today. So I thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you for coming. So how in the world, as I read in the bio, you've got your music career, you're an entrepreneur on the music side as well as your jewelry line, and then you're also doing Divas DC, which I'm sure that takes quite a level of commitment as well. So how in the world are you able to do it all?
In a phrase, the grace of God, okay? But I have a level of determination that could be freakish to most people. When you want something bad enough, you just roll up your sleeves and you get it done. And I think that, I've been afforded some great talent, some great energy, some big blessings, and if I don't take full advantage, then I have nobody to blame but myself. You know what I'm saying? So I make a incredible effort. Sometimes I still feel like it's not enough, but I try to make every effort possible to do all those little things, because you know, we live in a world where either you work for someone else or you work for yourself. And now, luckily, we can work for ourselves, you know, as artists and otherwise, you know. And I think for me, I know it's my chosen path. It's just that I have to work it. I have to work it no matter what. I schlep jewelry all over the world, whether I take it out and present it or not. You know, I try to take every picture, sign every autograph, be at every dinner, from the janitor to the president of the company. You know, because you never know who you're going to meet. You never know who you're going to touch. You never know, you know, how impactful you can be or how impactful someone can be on myself, you know, as an experience through my walk with all of this. So I'm just so grateful to, you know, there's a lot of things I can't do. I tell people, don't give me your taxes. You don't want me to fool with your taxes. But if you want a show produced,
Right.
you know, or a song written, or to be styled, or to have, you know, jewelry for an outfit, then I'm your girl, you know. But brain surgery, not so much.
Well, you've always had a flair for or style for dressing. I've always admired that.
Thank you.
Even back in the Ibex days.
Ooh, Lord have mercy. You've gone way back.
Yes.
Way
and
back.
even back then, you were very focused. You knew exactly what you wanted to do in terms of your music. And I can definitely admire the fact that even at such a young age, you knew what you wanted and you stayed the course and you made it happen. And now you are, you know, traveling all over the world, meeting all kinds of people, from artists to your fans. And you know, so you did it, and you're still doing it.
And I'm still doing it.
Yes.
It feels like you are climbing Mount Everest in a miniskirt and pumps, okay? But one step at a time, you know, one step at a time, one impact at a time. And, you know, God willing, I will continue as long as there is breath in my body, you know?
So tell me, how did you get with Chic to, you know, how did that all come about?
Well, let's see. Let me try to give you the edited version. I was singing with Jean Carn, who is she was just here at Blues Alley, and Jean is one of my mother, auntie, mentor, all of that. And I was singing in bands, of course, and then through another wonderful musician, may he rest in peace, Mr. Nathan Heathman, who so many of us came up under. I remember. And I was one of them. And he called me one day and he said, listen, I'm at the Ibex with Jean. I need you to come up here. And my mother had every record known to man, so I had all of Jean's records. And I was one of the few who knew her songs in that way, you know, besides Don't Let It Go to Your Head and, you know, the obvious ones. And Jean took me under her wing. And I sang with her for, 6 or 7 years. And through Jean, I met Deanna Williams, who is, you know, a bigwig. And shout out to Deanna in Philadelphia radio. And she's a huge radio personality. And she's also connected through the Gamble and Huff and that whole experience. And Deanna then took me to Nile. Nile Rodgers and Deanna were on a plane together. And Nile said, I have been auditioning and auditioning and auditioning girls, and I just can't find the right girl. And she said, do you know Silver? And he said, no. And she said, hold on. And she got me on the phone. It was like 5 or something in the morning. And she's like, wake up, boo. Wake up. I need you to hear me.
Focus.
Do you know who Nile Rodgers and Bernard? I was like, yeah, yeah. And she said, well, they're putting Chic back together, and this is your gig, honey. This is definitely your gig. And she said, I'll call you back in a little while. And in the time it took her to call me back, I was packed and ready to go. And I was not playing, honey. And she called me back with Nile on the phone. And he said, listen, when can you come to New York? I said, now. And he flew me in, and I went in, and it's funny because I could see he and Bernard looking through this little glass. We were at Skyline Studio in New York, and he was looking through the little glass on the door, and I could see their little noses pressed up. And he came out and he said, damn, if you could sing half as good as you look, because, you know, I was dressed to the nines.
Yes.
Like, big hair, boots up to here. I went in there for the gig. And it started out right, and everything he asked me to sing. And by the third thing that he asked me to sing, he said, so listen, when can you start?
You're like, tonight.
And I said, and this was the thing. I said, in my naivete, I said, you know, we have this thing in Washington called the Whammies, and I'm nominated for a Whammy, and my band has to play at TJ Remington's in 2 days. I said, so I have to go home and do my gig, and then I can come back. they looked at each other like, did she just say, I gotta go home? I was very serious too. Like, I can pencil you in, but I can start on Saturday, but I gotta go home and do my gig.
Right.
So I came back, I did my gig, and packed all the while, and went right back to New York the next day. And the rest is history.
Wow. Well, they had to respect that.
I think, or he thought I was out of my mind. They kind of chuckled a little, like, did she really just say she had to go back and do her little gig? And I was dead serious too. I was like, I don't think you understand. And it was too late to back out of the gig. You know what I mean? So I said, if that's okay with you, I said, I can get out of all my other gigs, but this one I have to do. It's very important. It's a big deal in DC, and he was like, the Whammies? I was like, it's like the Grammys, but Washington Area Music Awards.
Right.
And I said, don't hate, it means something in my town, So they let me come back and do my gig. And then I went back and we started to record the Chicism record.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
that's beautiful. So very important lesson in that conversation is to do what you say you're going to do.
Absolutely.
Don't start out burning your bridges because that's not cool.
Yeah. And I mean, I wasn't sure. I figured that, and as I think about it now, I probably set a tone then that said, and I can be loyal to a fault. I'm one of those that you have to burn me off like a tick to make me go away. And so I said to him, it's a very important thing. I've been playing the D.C. circuit at the time. This is when Tacoma Station and Republic Gardens and
Mr. Henry's.
And Mr. Henry's, right. Those were the venues that we had to play back then. And it was a big deal to me, and they took me very seriously. They were like, okay, no problem. And I was like, but I can be back like Monday morning ready to sing. And I, and I did. And
wow.
So
what was that whole experience through the 20 years that you were with them? What was it like, aside from the obvious of traveling the world and getting to meet and experience different cultures?
Yeah. Though the first year or so we spent recording the Chicism record, because they had been working on it well before I got there, but they weren't, satisfied with the singers. They had singers that could sing but didn't have the look or what they were looking for, and they had people that had the look that couldn't really sing, or they could sing live but not record, or record but not sing live, the whole thing. And Deanna pretty much said to them, "This is your girl," and Bernard too, may he also rest in peace, was just simply amazing. They embraced me like big brothers, And I learned a lot from them kind of off the break. They started out saying, okay, well, first of all, everybody's going to think you're a drug addict because we were drug addicts back in the day. And then, this, that. And I was like, what? And they were like, just roll with it. No big deal. And I was like, roll with it? Are you crazy? But it was those things from their, past and their, coming around. And this was the rebirth of Chic that was already a major band way before I came into the picture. So they were putting Chic back together. We were signed to Warner Brothers at the time, and we were making that record. It was one of the most amazing experiences. Fonzie Thornton, who is one of the most underrated singers on the planet. Fonzie Thornton, who is like my brother, he's on every Chic record there is, and pretty much most of Luther Vandross's records as well. He and Luther were like brothers. And Fonzie is another one who, by the second day, they brought Fonzie in for me to do backgrounds with, and he said, I'm going to teach you everything you need to know about singing Chic music. And he did. And there's a certain thing to the gang vocals of singing songs like dancing, dancing, my feet keep dancing, dancing, dancing. That acapella, that staccato timing. And I need some help. I get beside myself, and I got so many things in life to do, like those, that timing. And he sort of tuned my ear to what they needed from me vocally to capture what Chic was known for, besides rhythm and bass, but the vocals there. And when you take Alpha Anderson, Lucy Martin, Norma Jean Wright, and several other vocalists, Michelle Cobbs, and a bunch of all the singers who came before me, that was the trademark. That was what had to be done. So I was deemed a lead voice, which was kind of the first ever in this. And I remember I was recording a song called My Love's For Real. and I was in it. And at one point on the playback, he said, "Could you ad-lib?" And I went, "Mm-hmm." Like, I dare you to give me a track. I dare you. And he said, "Okay, well, we're just going to, just roll the outro and you just go for it." And he kept every note.
Wow.
Every note is on that take. And he was like, "Okay, well, I guess we've got a lead singer for real, And at the time, I was like, bring it, whatever you got, come on. And so between their direction in the studio, between Fonzie tuning me to the chic sound, you know what I'm saying? Within a few days, I was in a groove, And I think they welcomed my my lead abilities. Not all background singers can sing lead, and not all lead singers can sing background.
Right.
But coming from the school of Jean Carn, I learned to do both. And Jean too promoted me very much. I mean, I sang a whole song in the middle of her show, as opposed to riff a few bars.
Right.
High Meet Silver. She made a very big deal out of it every night. And those are experiences and stories I will tell for the rest of my life, because these are the shoulders that I stand on.
Right. Good foundation that you take with you as an indie artist.
Yes,
now
absolutely.
As a solo act. So, what do you feel were some of the, if any, the sacrifices that you made? Well, I'm not going to say if any, because there are sacrifices.
Oh yeah, there are.
What were some of the sacrifices that you made that you'd like to share?
Well, I think I knew early in my life that entertaining is funny, not necessarily singing. I started out as a dancer at Ellington. I was doing some serious modeling, runway and print modeling for a while. And my mom kept going, "I don't know why you don't sing. Why don't you sing?" And it's like, And at Ellington, I was surrounded by, singing fools, okay? So I was like, I'm not opening my mouth around these. Are you kidding me? And I just sort of came into myself, but some of the sacrifices were, like, for instance, I went to an airline academy. Most people don't know that. I went to an airline academy in Kissimmee, Florida. And I came back and I worked this is when there was Butler Aviation at National Airport. This was a long time ago. And I worked in the travel industry for a minute, and to the point where, I've done everything from de-ice planes to belt loaders to the ticket counter to you name it. And this was, of course, way before 9/11 and before the airlines went bananas. And there was a point at which they said they were looking for minorities to be air traffic controllers. And so they were pushing me. And so one day I went up in the tower for one class, and I ran out of that room like, oh, God, no. I'm not, no way. And then another time I started to go for being a flight attendant. And I passed all the tests, and I was about to get, that in that realm of going for the job. But I couldn't sing and do my band stuff and do that too.
Right.
So I was like, oh, well. There goes that. It wasn't a thought, oh, should I not? How glad am I that I went with my, talent instinct and not to stay in that world, because I wouldn't be doing that now. You know what I mean? And we are taught, especially in America, to go for the sure thing. But I think if you haven't learned anything by 2014, that there is no such thing as a sure thing. Right. Nobody has a sure thing.
Right.
The sure thing is being grounded in what you do and doing it to the fullest. Be it a bag and grocery person, a gas station attendant, a radio jock, or whatever that is. You know what I mean? And you have to carve out what works for you. I don't have children. I'm not married, but I am in a very successful relationship and partnership. And I have certainly, missed things. I've missed, family occasions, weddings, and all kinds of things because I'm on a tour or I'm making a record or doing something like that. And but I don't regret any of it, because there are some things that everybody's just not gonna make it all the time. Right. You know what I mean? Right. And doing what I needed to do to further my career was the priority. It still is the priority. And you know, those are the choices that I make. I would do it again tomorrow. I would do it again tomorrow. I think there's a part of me that might have had children long time ago, but you know, that train has, you know, come and gone, and so now mentoring them, or you know, there's other ways to reach children. A lot of children out here that don't have parents, and that need guidance, that don't have to be birthed from my loins, you know what I mean? But get the same advantages.
Right.
So I kind of take that road now, you know. But I don't look at it like, oh, I should have, I could have.
No
It
regrets.
wasn't my path, and I have absolutely no regrets.
Well,
you know?
that's great.
Yeah.
That's good to hear and good to know, because, again, sometimes, well, you don't ever want to reach a point where you look back and say, if I coulda, woulda, shoulda.
Yeah.
And you know, sometimes I feel I started to kind of feel that way at one point in time, but then as I get older and I experience different things, I realize that, and I said this last week, there are no mistakes. You know, as you're on your journey, opportunities open up as they should open up.
As they should, absolutely. Absolutely.
So I'm learning to not have regrets as well. So, and I want to ask this question because we've got to hear you sing a song.
Oh, okay.
So I know personally, and even in hearing you answer some of the questions, you have a very strong faith. And so I know that part of the advice that you would give someone listening in trying to chart their course and figure out at each level how they are to move forward, you know, what type of things should they consider. So in addition to the faith, the strong faith, what else would you recommend in terms of just advancing in their music career and things that they need to consider before they make possibly life altering decisions? Yes.
You know, I think and I'm still learning this, is you have to hold your vision even when other people don't. You know, everybody will not agree with the song choices or the outfits or the photographs or, you know, all the things that go along with creating an image. And I think that we've done, as a whole, the industry as a whole has done an incredible disservice to so many artists out there, because in America specifically, we are talking about the not so good stories. You know, we're talking about the Lindsay Lohans and the Justin Biebers and the Chris Browns, who are all incredibly talented people that can't stay out of trouble.
Right.
They just can't stay out of trouble, you know, and it's just ridiculous things. It's not even trouble worth getting in. You know what I'm saying? So I think for me, and believe me, there are days when I question myself. There are days when I'm going, okay, am I just out of my mind, or is this picture only playing in my head? You know, there are things I see so clearly. And if I could just make it to fruition before somebody blows it out of the water, you know what I'm saying? And it's very difficult. Even now, it's very difficult because we have a overnight mentality. Everything happens like this mentality. The phrase, all I gotta do is, has become my least favorite thing, because everything takes longer than you think it does, even with all the quickness that we have. And so I think, and people are perceived as being overnight success when so many of us take Ledisi, for example, who is a ridiculous singer.
Yes.
She's been at it a long time. She had an album called Feeling Orange Again. And one of my best friends, I remember she said, you know this girl, Ledisi? Nobody's heard of her yet.
Right.
And she just happened to go to her release party. Long story short, she had this album. I met Ledisi years later on the cruise. And I said to her, I said, you know, my girlfriend is a huge fan. She's got your first album. And she said, wow, I don't even have my first album anymore. Like, you can't even buy that anymore. And she was telling me, this is when my first album, Place to Begin, we were just finishing it. And she said, just don't stop. She said, I went back home. I told my mom, I'm done. And that's when the calls started to come. And now,
look at her. She's
at her
everywhere.
Now. And so we think that, or we are led to believe that this was overnight. There was nothing overnight about Ledisi's success, India Arie's success, Jill Scott's success. None of that was overnight. You know, these divas have been working for years to get to this point. And so, saying all that to say to get back to, besides my faith and being strong and knowing that my steps are ordered. I am a visual person. I am extremely visual. That is what's so cool about this radio show. And I'm very visual, and I see it way before it manifests into tangibility, and holding the vision while other people who may have the money, who may have the get on the phone, make a call to make this happen, and they might not agree. You got to compromise a little, and I mean a little, okay? And then you have to stick to your guns, because this was the reason you were interested in me in the first place. Right. This was why you wanted to work with me. This is why you said, "Who's that girl?" And then now that you've got me, now you want to change everything. Well, can we do this, and let's do that, and let's get rid of this, and wait. And so somewhere in there, you need a little give and take, but you've got to see your vision through. I believe that's what Badu did. I believe that's what all of them did, and they are still holding to that right now. And it ain't easy. It ain't easy.
Excellent advice. Excellent advice.
Thank you.
So we're going to take a quick commercial break, and then when we come back, the next person that you will see and voice that you will hear will be Silver Logan Sharp, just teasing us with just a little with some vocals. Check it out.
I got home with the ringing phone. By the time I picked up, just a dial tone. Was it you? Could it be? I'm just imagining how it used to be. I was born, wanna be alone. I guess I never really got it, but now I know it's not about me always getting my way. It's not about always looking for a change. I figured it out the second I walked away. It's all about the little things, all about discovering, all about the way you got me. It's all about the way I felt when you came around, and the way you picked me up when I was down. 'Cause it's all about the little things, all about remembering, all about the way.
Mama was the sun I set to soon, and through every night and day, Mama lit the way. Praise of Papa's praise for life to bloom. Mama, baby was sorry, Mama. Mama was the moon. The door slams behind him, a picture on the wall tilts right. I just did appearances and all. This time barely broke my skin. Look at that lovely home I'm in. Got 2 more hours before the baby wakes. He'll come home with flowers. It seems that's all it takes. Last time nearly broke my chin, but I'm needing all my friends. Hear me when I call my love. See behind this wall, my love. Though my eyes won't tell the truth, I pray somehow you see the proof. My love, hear me when I call my love. See behind this wall, my love.
Y'all ain't ready for this. Brothers seem to come and go, always talking stuff that they don't know. I'm looking for a real brother, DC brothers, a real man how to get by brother. Real brothers, DC brothers, a real man how to fake a lie.
Real brother,
Come on.
New York brother, a real man, not a broke down brother. Real brother, LA brother, a real man.
Y'all ready?
Make a lie.
I'm looking for a real man raise the man for life on this land. I need the kind of brother that loves his mother, keeps his woman like no other. That's the kind of man that I need. Ladies, make some noise if you feel me.
Say it again.
Don't you pretend you don't know what you don't know.
Won't wait around. It's time to get down. You wanna
Get to know me.
Ain't got no problem. Don't want no drama. I want your love to feel free.
Everybody make some
Make
noise.
some noise if you feel me.
Come on. Real brothers, DC brothers. A real man not to get by brother. Real brothers, DC brothers. Come on.
Man, not a faker lie.
Not a faker.
New
Yeah.
York brother.
A real man.
Not a broke down
Not no broke down. Yeah.
LA brother. A real man, not a faker lie.
I'm talking about for real guys. Deep down they give me butterflies. I can tell when he looks in my eyes. He's the only one for me. But you better not take too long. If you want me, you gotta bring it strong. Brothers, don't get it twisted. Here it is again in case you missed it. Say it again. Don't you pretend you don't know what I mean. I won't wait around. It's time to get down. Do you wanna get to know me? Ain't got no problems. Don't want no drama. I want your love to feel free. All my brothers make some
Make
noise.
some noise if you feel me.
Real brothers, DC brothers. A real man not to get by, brother. Real brothers.
DC
Come on.
brother.
Hey.
A real man, not a faker lie.
Not a faker.
Brother. New York brother.
Oh,
Real
yeah.
man, not a broke down
Shout out to RE, y'all.
LA brother. A real man,
Not a faker lie. I'm looking for a real brother. Oh, where they at? They in Southeast DC. Huh. I just want to know where you at, my real brothers. Thank you, thank you.
Sound beautiful.
Oh, thank you so much.
So we have to close out the show. We definitely
Already?
wanna-
I'm not
no,
ready to
I'm not
go.
either. But I'm definitely. We didn't get a chance to talk much about Divas DC, but when. Okay. Oh, great. Okay, so.
Got an extra minute.
Yeah, so Terry S. was on the show, and she
Yeah.
promised me that she would get you ladies together, and I'll have
All
these
of us?
seats- Yes.
Oh, my
to
goodness.
Talk more about that.
Okay.
So we know that you have the show tomorrow at the Howard Theater. I'm
Yes.
going to be there. We're going.
You've got to
I
come.
will
You've
be
got to
there.
come. I am so excited. I've been wanting to play this room for years.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, shout out to Sheba
Somebody
Haley.
got smart.
Miss Sheba Haley, honey, called me, said, "What you doing on the 29th of July?" I said, "Whatever you got scheduled." And she said, "Well, we're doing something here. AARP is sponsoring a gig here at the Howard for summer nights, and Marcus Johnson is the headliner." I said, "I don't care if Mickey Mouse is the headliner. Just put me on."
All right.
And I said I'd love to be a part of it. Marcus is a great artist and well respected here in the
Yes.
DMV, and I'm just honored. I'm honored to play the Howard. I'm honored to play in my city. I do travel a lot. I am in Europe a lot, but I want to work in here and in the States so much more. You know what I mean? And even though I've lived a lot of places and I go a lot of places, DC is home.
Right, absolutely. So how do people stay? Also, so we've got the CD that's coming out soon.
Yes.
And where?
And
I'm losing
Real
stuff.
Brothers is available now online on iTunes and CD Baby. I have another single. I have several singles out. My dance records are out, and but this new album, The Groove Mint, is not released yet. You can get a little preview if you come to the gig tomorrow night. It's hot off the press, and we're getting our strategy together. I hope that I am getting new followers on Twitter and Facebook and every other social media outlet that there is.
Yes.
And they can find me on silverware.com, which is SYLVERWEAR.com. Or silverlogansharp.com. It will all take you to the same place.
Okay, great. Fantastic. So, again, make sure you stay connected and follow Silver. She definitely needs our own homegrown support. You know, she's
Absolutely.
famous all over the
Every
world.
place but here.
Yes. Well, you're famous here too. People are just a little slow here, that's all.
But you know, and let me just give you guys kudos for being, you know, a new entity, and Soul Fusion magazine presenting Indie Voice is amazing, and we have to support you guys because you guys support us. Artists, if you're listening, tell somebody to tell somebody, log on, check it out. This is what we need. We always complain about not having enough outlets.
Right.
And it's stations like this and internet radio like this that keep us alive. So thank you
Yes,
for doing
you're
this and putting
welcome.
this out there.
Trying to make a difference.
Absolutely.
Just trying
And
to
you
make a
are
difference.
making a difference.
Thank
you.
you.
Are making a difference.
So what?
Absolutely.
Thank you.